All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, parents and children alike. If you found this video, you probably were doing some research on the North Carolina Governor's School, more than likely because someone in your family or yourself was invited to participate in the Governor's School, a 6-week summer program for gifted students, held at one of 2 campuses in North Carolina. Well, you've come to the right place. You'll learn information here you won't find anywhere else. I'm here to tell you how to prepare for the Governor's School or how to find alternatives to Governor's School, whether the administrators of Governor's School like it or not. My name is Luke Setzer. I went to North Carolina Governor's School West in 1982, and I'm here to tell you some things that some people might not want you to hear. So let's get started. This is the agenda, which you can read, and by the way, you can download this PowerPoint presentation directly off the YouTube information page for this video, and I hope you do and study it carefully. But I'm telling you about this because I spent 6 weeks in 1982 at Governor's School West, and I didn't think that highly of it at the end, despite what my peers had to say about it in contrast. So I'm here to be the spoil sport, the naysayer, and give you a different viewpoint of things to come. The executive summary, of course, you know that gifted high school students are often invited to participate in a lot of different programs, including the 6-week Governor's School program. So I want to tell you about how to get the most out of the program or how to find better ways to spend your summer. Let's get started. You probably know by now the Governor's School was started in 1963 by Governor Terry Sanford for one purpose, help America compete in the Cold War. But as all government programs do, they evolve over time to a broader agenda. Now they've got this motto, accept nothing and challenge everything. And of course it recruits competitively gifted rising 11th and 12th graders from across the state to spend 6 weeks in an intense cloistered environment on one of 2 college campuses during the summer between those grades. So what do they do exactly? They study a rigorous curriculum of 3 broad areas. There are 3 areas. Area 1 is, of course, your chosen area, and there's a wide range of disciplines in Area 1 that you can pick from. Area 2, philosophy, especially how we go about knowing what we know, which can get interesting. And Area 3, sociology, which is how does all this fit into our social world, and how do we incorporate knowledge from Areas 1 and 2 into that. Now, I'm going to tell you up front, really, what I consider Governor's School is a big socialist experiment, a conditioning experiment where, in fact, Area 3 is what drives Areas 2 and 1. And we'll show that later in this presentation. It's interesting to note that no grades are assigned, but you do have to complete all 6 weeks in order to get credit for it on your academic record. And of course they have a website, ncgovschool.org, where you can learn more about it from their point of view with all their glowing positive testimonials. I'm here to offer the negative testimonial. Thank you very much. So why should you prepare? There are so many reasons, it's hard to count them, but let me try. I consider Governor's School to be an intellectual marathon. It's a 6-week program. It's very intense intellectually and emotionally. And so you should warm up and train for that just like you would warm up and train for a physical marathon. You're going to be isolated for 6 weeks. You can't get those 6 weeks back once you've spent them. Critics charge, I think quite rightly, that it messes with young minds and damages them. So you need to keep that in mind, and I'll show you how. Leaving your traditional support network for 6 weeks can disorient some or many people. So it's important to make sure this is the most valuable way you can spend those precious 6 weeks, because time is your most precious commodity. So let's study these in order from Areas 3 to Area 2 to Area 1 and finally the campus setting, because I consider those the order of most unsettling to least unsettling. And also, really, as I said earlier, Area 3 is what drives the rest of this. So let's talk about Area 3, sociology. It's the most unsettling in my view. Discusses a lot of different controversial topics, and not just discussion in class, but also watching films and speakers. Films and speakers and other things that try to make you think about these social issues. They set the agenda. It's important to know that they set the agenda. You don't get to set it, they get to set it, whether you like it or not. So it's important to get a good grasp of what that agenda is. Homosexuality, capital punishment, economic equality, blah, blah, blah. It's short, it challenges the system, whatever that is, the system. As you can imagine, it caused a lot of stir among religious conservatives, even led to forms of so-called censorship like banning homosexual speakers and other controversial guest celebrities. To get a taste of this and decide whether you really like this subject or not, go to mysocskit.com, spend $29, best $29 you'll ever spend. Get access to the material related to the book In Conflict and Order by Einstein and Bakunin. And as you're reviewing this, keep a skeptical mindset. Make sure you're thinking your own thoughts. Don't get sucked into their arguments necessarily. But understand that you'll be fully immersed in these kinds of propaganda campaigns once you get to governor's school. To help you think critically about Area 3, I really recommend the books of Ayn Rand, especially the books I've listed here. We also have a great website called rebirthofreason.com where you can learn more. Your academic mentors and teachers will scoff at this more than likely. They hate Ayn Rand. Why? Ayn Rand would put them out of business if her ideas took a wide hold in our culture. But she'll help you to not fall for their propaganda because she is a very thorough, rigorous argumentator. This leads us into Area 2 because Area 3 relies on Area 2 for ways of knowing. So let's take a look. Area 2, philosophy, studies ways of knowing and many other topics. It probes how we know what we know, talks about religion, the existence of God, altered states of experience, and in short, at root, when you discuss Area 2 at Governor's School, it will fundamentally challenge your sense of reality. So again, because getting a grasp on reality is important for mental health, it's important to understand exactly the kinds of mind games they're playing with you. Get myphilosophy.kit.com. Spend $29, the second best $29 you'll ever spend. Take a look at the Philosopher's Way support material by Chaffee. And as with Area 3, think your own thoughts about this. Don't necessarily get sucked into what the author has to say. I want to make a special note to persons of faith. I'm going to share a dirty little secret with you. I'm an atheist who doesn't like a lot of the atheists I meet. I have more friends who are religious than friends who are atheists. Why? So many of the atheists I meet are angry, unhappy people who spend all their time grousing about religion and no time trying to look for what is good in this world. I focus on what is good in this world, but I'm the exception rather than the rule. So I can appreciate the positive worldview a lot of the faithful have. That doesn't mean that faith is right. It just means I can appreciate some of its benefits. Bottom line is, when I went to governor's school, I was religious. I didn't become non-religious until well after college, but that's another story. Area 2 can give you a chance, if properly applied and prepared for, to explore your own belief system. For example, scholasticism in the Catholic Church was developed many centuries ago by Thomas Aquinas to help unite faith and reason and give faith a rational basis. So it's important that you prepare now with your own research. If you're very religious, perhaps talk to your minister or other religious leaders in your church about how one maintains the faith in the face of challenges. Because in my view, it's not fair for the state to come waltzing in there, lock you up for 6 weeks on an isolated campus in a cultish environment, trying to brainwash you out of your belief system. That's not the state's job, period. So that's why I'm ranting about this, even though I am not a man of faith. So you need to get ready, because other people will tackle you, trust me, will tackle you about your beliefs in these classes. To get some practice in this, go to rebirthofreason.com, check out the dissent forum, post your thoughts in favor of religion, see what kind of counter-arguments you'll encounter. You need to test your faith now so you can prepare to have it broken or bolstered later. To help you think critically about Area 2, of course, more works by Ayn Rand, my favorite author, For the New Intellectual, Objectivist Epistemology, and her protege, Leonard Peikoff, wrote a whole book on her philosophy, Objectivism, objectivism101.com, great site, check it out. And your academic mentors will scoff, but the hell with them. Area 2 wants to explore philosophical positions in all the disciplines, which goes into Area 1. Let's take a look at that. Area 1, all sorts of disciplines. What they have in common is that they're probably the least unsettling because you chose to be there for those disciplines based on nominations from your academic peers. And unfortunately, it also tries to mix these Area 3 social impact factors and Area 2 political philosophy factors into Area 1, whether you like it or not. Things like discussing moral dilemmas in natural science, world's need for mathematics in the mathematics program. In short, the program evades the objective nature of knowledge, learning knowledge for your own sake of enjoying it and applying it yourself according to your values, regardless of what other people think. Also, there's lack of choice in Area 1. Even though you go there for a specific discipline, they're still setting the agenda, just like all of them do, for what you're going to learn and how you're going to learn it. For example, if you don't like biology, you still have to study biology. If your preference is physical science, don't go to governor's school to do natural science, because they'll make you learn biology, whether you like biology or not. Same thing with drama, same thing with music. All of them have their own faults. They're all encumbered with what you might very well consider rubbish. To get a taste of this college-level work, go to this website, pearsonhighered.com/elearning. They've got tons of different online learning tools for a wide range of subjects. Pick some, figure out what you want to do, how much money you're willing to spend to get prepared to encounter Area 1 at Governor's School. The campus setting, the glorious campus setting. Let me summarize it in 4 words from the existentialist philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre. Hell is other people. Now, I know I'm in the minority on this. I'm an extreme introvert. I like spending a lot of time alone. I don't like having people around me all the time. Governor's School is just the opposite kind of environment. You have to live in unchosen dorms, unchosen campus, unchosen roommates. It's like a gulag. And of course, the administrators deliberately cut you off from physical contact with your parents for the first 2 weeks. It's like a little brainwashing cult. They cut you off so they can control you completely. The students have to remain on campus every single night of the program except the mid-program break. You get no privacy. You get deprived of sleep. Oh, God. My roommate was horrible. I'd be trying to sleep. He'd come in at 2 a.m. What? You're in bed already? Oh, shut up. And, of course, you get no cars, so even more restrictions on your freedom. I think this whole thing is cultish. That's my personal opinion. They've got you cloistered for 6 weeks with a false community, with all this free stuff that bears no resemblance to the real world. And all the bonding you get because of all this freedom from adult responsibilities creates an emotional high. And when you get back to the real world, you've got to come off that high, which can lead to withdrawal symptoms and depression. Bah! You're under intense control around the clock by people who are substitutes for your parents, who are the ones who actually ought to be doing this. And I really, really, really recommend you go to freedomofmind.com for more information to see how cults work, and then compare that to how the Governor's School works and think for yourself. Is Governor's School basically a 6-week cult? This brings us to alternatives and why to seek them. I hope I've shown you by now that there are a lot of downsides to Governor's School, regardless of what other people have to say about it. And really, I think the Area 2 and 3 instructors, to borrow the words of Ross Perot, couldn't get a job third shift in a Dairy Queen. You need to look for other ways that might be more in line with your values and carry more weight in the eyes of yourself and the people who matter most to you and your future. How do you go about doing this? Well, you're going to have to figure out what you want to do with your life and how Governor's School, or whatever you do that summer, fits into your overall life plan. I like the words of Stephen Covey. Begin with the end in mind, and the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. So figure out what you want to do with your life. Understand career is really the driver for a proper education. And take some time. Sit down, relax, breathe deeply, clear your mind, and just think. If I had no limits in my life, what would I do with it? Write down a bunch of ideas, brainstorm, and then finally, after several drafts, concisely state in a single paragraph what your personal mission statement in life is. This is a very clarifying exercise. I've done it myself. It's extremely rewarding and makes everything else fall into place, such as whether or not you want to go to Governor's School. That mission statement becomes the main thing that helps you figure out what to do with your summer and your life. And I'm going to jot down here on PowerPoint a few ideas about how to spend summer. It's not an exhaustive list. You can pause the video and check this out. Download the PowerPoint file and check it out. But bottom line is, you've got loads of ways to spend that summer. Governor's School is only one. Don't let the people in charge of the schools get you kowtowed, bowing down before them to go to Governor's School. Your life belongs to you. Make sure you retain that authority and make your own decisions about this. In short, if I had my life to live over again during the summer, I would do my level best to try to take dual enrollment summer college courses for credit at a community college or online with a community college or university. That's how I would spend my summer, and I would have considered it a vastly more productive use of my time, money, and life energy. And there's a good chance you could even get those credits at no cost through the North Carolina Dual Enrollment or Learn and Earn program, but you'll have to research that yourself. I've got a YouTube video about that, Dual Enrollment versus NCSSM. Has a lot of other details if you want to learn more about that. If you can't make that happen, look at all the other listeds and every other option you can think of, and then figure out how you can best spend that summer. And if it turns out that Governor's School is your best bet, please follow my recommendations for preparing and act accordingly. Or whatever you do, make sure you learn all about it before you commit for that summer. In conclusion, Governor's School is not the opportunity of a lifetime it pretends to be. Make sure you judiciously examine its shortcomings as well as its merits. And aim their motto at them. Accept nothing and challenge everything about Governor's School. And above all, remain loyal to your own life and act accordingly. This concludes this presentation. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck to you.